have we here? You heard my call. You're imbalanced, Swampy.
How would it Swampy looking for stuff? It calls to you.
Hello, explorers, and welcome to Explore the Force, our international Star Wars podcast. This week we have Jimmy with us today. Hey, Jimmy.
Hello, everyone. Yay.
How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. How about you?
Good.
Good.
Well, myself, I'm Taylor, and I'm doing pretty great. I'm excited to chat with you. We don't have Jack with us this week because he's hiking. What's he? Is he still hiking through the Grand Canyon?
He is on his way to the Grand Canyon. So we finally got Jack in the States, and we're having trouble connecting. So Jack will be. I'm sure we may get on later and talk in a separate episode, just some Ahsoka spoiler stuff. But I believe that he flew into Vegas. He landed in Denver, flew to Vegas, and then are driving from Vegas down to the Grand Canyon, where he and his units are going to do some massive hiking. I'm kind of curious as to what kind of training they're doing. I want to know if they're trying to retake us, but we'll figure that all out.
Damn. Yeah, why
as we go. Yeah, I don't know. So, top secret British military trip, I guess. Well, not really top secret, but you know. But anyways,
Nice.
So yeah, we're missing him. Good news is that he'll probably be back on Tuesday for our Ahsoka recap, our Ahsoka HQ show, and he won't have to be up at 2:00 in the morning. So maybe we'll have a coherent Jack. You know, if he hasn't hiked too many miles or too many kilometers that day. So, but anyways, so Taylor, how has your week been?
My week's been pretty good. I am getting a lot of fall gardening stuff done, and for you gardeners, you know that's a lot of raking and hedging and trimming back and stuff. And you know, I get to do that on 120 acres at the Greater Vancouver Zoo. So, those gardens are going to be looking beautiful soon, and you know who to thank for them. So yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a busy week, but it's good. I like that chill in the morning. I'm almost ready to have a pumpkin spice flavored beverage in my hand.
Too soon.
Almost.
Too soon.
Well, I said almost.
Well, it is almost Han Solo season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Girls in their vests and their high boots. I like to call that Han Solo season. So
gotta be blue jeans right?
Blue jeans and high boots and their things. Yeah. So we have been. It's been pretty warm. We're gonna get a reprieve from the heat this coming week, so that's exciting.
Awesome.
Just more of the same. Cross country, school, recording. You know, the usual. Having 2 teenagers in the house has been pretty exciting. So yeah, it's been a good week. Can't complain. So
good.
So during your week, did you have any Force encounters that we need to talk about?
I really want to say yes, but I can't think of any.
All right.
I don't know. I did a lot of reading this week. I finished off the Ahsoka book that I was working on, which I've read it before, but I don't know, wanted to read again. And I was rereading the Red Blade book, the Inquisitor book a little bit, and then I was kind of dipping back into the Light of the Jedi a little bit.
Oh,
and then
dang.
I was just confusing myself a little bit. So I need to step back. I need a break. But I don't know. I wish I had a better force encounter. What about you? Did you have anything?
Well, yeah, we have one thing that we can't talk about yet, which I'm very excited that we've talked about.
Oh,
but we can't tell anybody, so that's super exciting. And I'm freaking out. Jack has forbidden us from speaking about it, which is probably good.
We don't want to jinx it.
Daddy Jack. So hopefully that'll be happening soon. A few things. I finally finished up the T6 Lego, so that build video should be coming out here soon. I'm hoping maybe early this week, maybe after we record, maybe Wednesday or Thursday after our Ahsoka stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, just little things here and there. I went to Barnes & Noble to try to get the Tales of Light and Life short stories, and they were sold out, which is pretty exciting. I mean, it kind of made me angry when I went there, but I was like, well, that's awesome because that means lots of people are reading it.
Yeah.
So I was really excited
Actually,
for
your
that.
area is busy.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's worth it because I got to go back into Wichita in a couple of days and go get it. They got more of them coming in, so I'll do that. Because I want that because there's this supposedly Amazon, or not Amazon, sorry. The Barnes & Noble has a special story that's only in that version. So,
yeah, you were saying the extra story.
Yeah, an extra story. So then we're gonna probably do something with that, maybe like a story a week or something. We'll talk about them. We'll see. But yeah, so not a ton of stuff happened, but a lot of little things kind of coming together for my Force encounters this week. And I did get to sit down with a coworker and talk some Ahsoka. That was pretty exciting. She had a bunch of notes. Her name is Lacey. She's listening. She's been a listener for a couple weeks now. It was pretty fun. She came in and she had a big list of things about Ahsoka and stuff like that we'll talk about later. But yeah, it was pretty fun. So a lot of little things. Sometimes that's not bad. Not nothing major. Just a lot of little things. And
awesome.
Yeah. So, but we did have some news coming out of Batuu, so let's go ahead and dive into that, shall we?
Mid-season fan celebration. Disney Plus series Ahsoka will air in select theaters throughout the United States. Of course, it's nowhere near any of us.
6 hours away in Dallas. A couple people at school. We talked about it, and then we couldn't find a place to go. I mean, Dallas is 6 hours away, so I'm not sure it's worth a 12-hour trip. But I mean, I would do it if it was summertime. I would have done it with not even thinking twice. But with school and packed the lunch and gone. So
I think I looked, and the closest one was like 7 hours or something for me because it wasn't just in Washington right there, which is the closest like state to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, also, so it's playing in the United States, also London, Thailand, and Brazil. They will be the first come, first served tickets, which I'm sure they're going to sell it quick. But unfortunately, those are not near any of us. And even if it was close to Jack in London, he's over here with us.
Yeah.
You can't watch it with us. So that was pretty exciting for like 10 seconds until I realized it wasn't going to be near me.
Emotional
if any, exactly. Excitement, sadness. So if any of you listeners are going to go see this, let us know how it was seeing it on the big screen, because that's amazing. Definitely do it, because maybe you can get a cool poster out of it too or something. And you know who to send it to. General Hera Syndulla is now appearing at Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland in California. Pictures show her with Chopper. I saw the pictures this week, and she actually looks really good. Like,
she looks awesome.
Yeah, and Chopper looks great too. And I guess it's like an updated version of Chopper, because they've had a Chopper before, but like this one is like really updated, so he's got all the extra bits and bobs. And I don't know, just look how she's standing. Like in every single picture, she just has that Hera like attitude. Like,
she looks amazing. So it's very cool. I just wonder if they're going to do like a new person each week or something like that. It seems to be going that way, right? Because I'm assuming Sabine's probably next.
Oh yeah. Okay. So they just added Ahsoka last week, or did they add Ahsoka? Yeah. No, they added Ahsoka the day of the first release.
Yeah.
So the 22nd or the 23rd or whatever, and then they added Hera. Have they added anybody else? And I'm just missing it.
I think it's just been those two since the show started. But I mean, that was over 4 weeks. 3 weeks they've added 2 new characters, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That's exactly what we thought too. Like we were even talking about how like as we get closer to like the end of the sequel era, like the Galaxy's Edge is going to change with it. to stay in the storyline, in the storytelling.
Really smart.
Cool.
Smart on their end to do that, keep adjusting and keep changing things a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see that in live action, if we'll see Batuu in live action.
Oh my gosh,
Right?
that would be so
That would
cool.
be the way to do it, right? Maybe in Dave Filoni's movie or something, to have that be some place that they land or something. Like, can you imagine people, I mean, you want to go there as it is, but you'd really want to go there if, you know, they build a set, looks just like it, or they use it, whatever. That'd be pretty amazing. So,
yeah, like imagine Mando walking into the shop of antiquities or what it's called,
yeah.
and like he buys something off the shelf for like Grogu or something. Ah!
Yeah.
Ugh, God.
Yeah. Speaking of exciting, so a lost Star Wars X-Wing fighter is up for auction decades after going missing. Created by Oscar-nominated model maker Greg Jeans, or Gines, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, his personal collection. It was actually found in someone's closet. They just happened to find this, one of the original X-Wings from Red Squadron.
And it was missing all this time?
Apparently, they can't find it because there's only 4 of them that have all this stuff. But the bidding will start at $400,000, and the auction will be held in Dallas, October 14th through the 15th. If I had an extra $400,000, I'd jet on down there.
Yeah, your head no.
I just a little out of my pocket. But apparently, it was built by Industrial Light and Magic for Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. The Red Leader, Red One, X-Wing is one of just 4 hero filming miniatures with articulating servo, controlled wings, and lights, according to the auction description. Hero models were built for close-ups and used in the final battle, including the trench run. So this thing was like one of the main models they used for the very first movie, which I can kind of see why that's going to fetch a nice little prize. I'd be curious to see
that. You're like, hell yeah, I could use another house.
Yeah.
I'll throw this up.
Yeah. So $400,000 to start.
And that's starting bid.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh. The HasLab Rebel Ghost closed with 21,768 backers, unlocking Ezra, Kanan Jarrus, and Zeb. The highly anticipated item is slated to be sent out fall of 2024. So it's done.
Yep, it closed last week. This previous week it closed. I remember we talked about it last Sunday. Obviously, our show comes on Tuesdays, but we talk on Sundays. At that point, it was at like 17,000, I think, or maybe it wasn't even that high.
My gosh!
So it took a massive, massive jump over a 3-day span. And I know that one of our listeners, and Anakin Crespin, he pulled the trigger, man. He pulled the trigger. He's got it. Yeah. So he says he's.
How much were one of these?
They retailed at $499, but with taxes and shipping and all that stuff, I think they came in around $600.
Oh.
So, but it is a beautiful, beautiful
piece of art,
piece of equipment. And I went, piece of art. I went and I checked online just to make sure I didn't close before we got on, and there was a thing that said you could only buy 5 at one time.
Oh my god, people were doing that. You know why? Because people are buying.
Well, they'll
5
buy
of
them and sell them.
Yeah, buy 5 of them for $500, $600 American, and then they're going to resell them in a week, or when they actually start coming out for like triple the price, and people are going to buy them.
They will, which is crazy because again, hardcore fans were in the mix. People who like it may not even realize that's happening, and then they're going to see that and they're going to be like, "Oh, I want one," and then they're going to pay $1,000 for it instead. So that's a bit crazy. Next little piece of news. Now, this interview happened before the SAG-AFTRA strike started. I double checked on this, but they went and they interviewed the actress that is playing Shin Hati, and I don't want to disrespect her by trying to pronounce her name. So she was asked to describe her character in an interview. And she points to the character's inquisitive, inexperienced nature, but also her desire to find herself. It suggests Shin will learn more about herself in future episodes. And she said she's very calculated and at times impatient. She is a seeker. She's only in the beginning of finding her own voice. That's all I can really say. And then throughout getting to discover her, she has taught me a lot about understanding the intensity within somebody. I really think there might be quite a few people who may resonate with her, with some sides of her and her desire to understand her surroundings and understand something that is true to her nature. So that was pretty cool that she's pretty in depth with her character. And if you've been watching Ahsoka, she is an intense character.
Yeah,
so,
she really is.
Yeah, I mean, there's not one. Is she ever calm in any scene she's been in? I mean, she's got those eyes. She's just like, ah. So.
No, she looks like she's about to explode or like she's about to just like lose it.
And then later on, they had asked her, how, losing Ray Stevenson. And she had some really sweet words to say about him and how she wants to carry his light on in the future, and that what a big part of her life, just in that short amount of time they spent together, he became. So that was really cool to hear that, we're all obviously people are falling in love with that character, and he's getting attention, unfortunately, a lot of it because of that and some because of him passing away. But it's good to know that he was a really good guy, and that he's going to be missed by everyone who's worked with him. And then finally, Hasbro's been pretty busy this week. They also announced a new Black Series Ahsoka and HK-87 assassin droid called the Carbonized series. This will be an Amazon. Yeah, this will be an Amazon exclusive deal. And I looked at them. They look really, really cool. I collect a little bit of Black Series, not as much as some people, but these look really cool. And I may have to pick them up. So
awesome! I have to look and see what they look like.
Yeah, they look really cool. So, but that is all the news we have coming out of Batuu this week.
This week, we thought that we would make our main topic a little bit relevant to the Ahsoka world right now, but we also decided that we didn't want to put a whole bunch of Ahsoka spoilers on today's episode, so you guys are mostly safe from us giving away spoilers.
We're not too good at that yet, are we?
Yeah, we're trying. Sorry, guys. So this week, we thought that we would talk about the history of the Night Sisters, or I guess a topic about the Night Sisters of Dathomir, which are also what are they? Witches of Darkness, I think was another name or something
Daughters
like that.
Dathomir. We got Night Sisters, Witches of Dathomir, and Daughters of Dathomir. According to Wikipedia, the Night Sisters were a clan of an ancient order of magic-wielding women, most of whom were Dathomirians, who lived on Dathomir. Go figure. A planet bathed in dark energies. These dark side users were able to perform their arcane magics by tapping into the magic ichor that flowed from the depths of their planet. So they used the power of the planet, it seems like. And just a little bit of backstory on these guys. And we're going to talk about a bunch of different characters, of course, with Morgan Elsbeth coming to being one of the big baddies of the Ahsoka show, and having showed up in Mando, we thought we would dive into this. But Asajj Ventress, who we're going to talk about, she has a quote, says, "Night Sisters know the dark side better than anyone. We grow up steeped in it, but we can use it as a tool and stay ourselves, unlike the Sith. That balance is what you must learn." So Ahsoka, talking to her boo, Quinlan Vos there, talked about how the Night Sisters are able to dive into the dark side but not let it overwhelm them, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, isn't one of the main rules like you cannot use this for evil? Like you can't use the power for evil as like part of their like old time religion for the witches.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I get confused between like the canon and the legends aspect of things. Most of what I see is from the stuff that we see from. We're going to break this down, of course. From Clone Wars on, and that's kind of stuff I count as. What
we
we're
try
talking
to stick
about.
to canon. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to try to stick to canon. Sometimes I get a little confused by which is which, but just a little bit of more backstory before we dive into this. The Night Sisters were created by Dave Wolverton and first appeared in his Star Wars Legends novel in 1994 called The Courtship of Princess Leia. Where are we at here? So he created these figures because he thought that there needed to be more strong, powerful women in Star Wars, back in 1994. So the idea was to bring these witches in, these Sisters of Dathomir, and have them be on equal footing of the Jedi and the Sith Lords. And it says that he was quite delighted when he found out that George Lucas picked up the Night Sisters for when he brought Maul into the into episode 1. So that's pretty exciting that he got to do that. But it's kind of cool that that's kind of where they started. And of course, as we go, you'll see that. I mean, they are some very powerful women in Star Wars and I was kind of surprised by doing our research how much they're actually tied into Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
And so they're
Actually. Yeah, the Night Sisters are actually throughout canon a lot, and I know that it's kind of a step away from like the, generic Star Wars as we know, because they're like witches and undead and all of this weird confusingness. But like we see them in the Clone Wars animated TV show a lot. We get a whole history lesson on what happens to all of the Night Sisters during the Separatists and the Clone Wars, and they're in the Dark Discipline book.
The Dark Disciple, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Dark Disciple. I can't even read. With Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Voss. And we also see them in Jedi Fallen Order, and I guess we see them in Survivor as well. I haven't played it yet.
Well, Marin's still in it, so I mean that's not really a spoiler alert because she's in all the trailers and stuff like that. But yeah, Marin's still in it. But yeah. So we have this broken down, kind of like you just said, Taylor. We're going to break it down Clone Wars, because that's usually, for most of us who haven't read a ton, well, I mean, I've read some of them, but most of us who haven't read a lot of the Legend stuff were first introduced to them in the Clone Wars, and then we kind of go into Dark Disciple, which was supposed to actually be a story arc in Clone Wars, but when they canceled it, they took the story and they wrote it out, made a book out of it. And then we're going to go into Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah. And then Rebels. And then, of course, Ahsoka and Mando. So, yeah, I mean, you can see, like, they've been part of this for a long time. But we're going to start out with Mother Talzin, right? She's kind of in Clone Wars, when we first introduced her, she's kind of the emperor of the Night Sisters. In her backstory, I'm not going to go all the way back before her, but she supposedly brought all the clans of the Night Sisters together.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's kind of responsible because they were fractured different groups. And
Lots
she went
of
out
clans,
and she kind of went out and they all realized that they were stronger together, especially with all the things that were going on in the universe or in the galaxy at the time. I wouldn't mind seeing some backstory on that, like some like clan wars or things like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then, throughout the Clone Wars, we won't go into a ton of spoilers or anything like that, but she does work with Darth Sidious and with Dooku.
Yeah.
Anytime anyone works with Sidious, it's only going to end one way. So
yeah, don't make deals with the Sith.
Yes, for sure. So obviously Sidious doesn't want to share power with anybody. He's just using them, ends to a means, and so he betrays her, and then he steals who will become Darth Maul, supposedly her son. He steals her from her, and then of course makes him his apprentice. And I guess it's not a canon book, but he's training Maul on the side while he's still being trained by his master in the Darth Plagueis book.
Oh, really?
They kind of keep pulling that book. If you've never read it, it's worth reading just because of how amazing it is. No, yeah, it should be, because that's one of the canon books I've read more than once, just because it's so good.
Okay.
The way it just weaves in and out of the storylines of the actual movies.
Yeah,
it's really
I've only
cool,
heard
all the
good
stuff
things
that's happening
about
behind
it.
the scenes. Yeah, it's phenomenal. But so there's our first main character, Mother Talzin, and she's sprinkled throughout the Clone Wars episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know when she makes her first appearance, but she's in quite a bit of it. But how do you feel about Mother Talzin?
I feel like I don't know. I don't really like their religion, I guess, or their people's way. Is first of all, they don't treat their men like people. They turn their men into slaves and like breeders, and like they like sell them and stuff. So they like sold one of Maul's brothers to Sidious, or no, to Dooku, right? I don't know.
Yeah, well,
in the Clone Wars.
They did. Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a little bit. So
yeah, so that was I don't know. Mother Talzin, she's super powerful. I think she was supposed to be trained by Darth Sidious until he saw her son's power, which is a lot stronger. And then they betrayed each other and he stole them all. So,
yeah.
But like, I also feel like she just gave away her children. She's giving away her children just like she did Asajj Ventress and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
she kind of does Asajj dirty. So that's kind of our next topic. So if you watch Clone Wars, another of the Night Sisters that we spend a lot of time with, and I would love to see more about her. So in 50 BBY, which was before the Battle of Yavin, so before A New Hope, the clan sold Asajj Ventress for protection to a criminal syndicate. Sold her, and that kind of comes up into the Dooku Lost Jedi book. It talks a little bit about her backstory, how she got sold, and then she finds the Jedi. She starts to get trained a little bit, and then Dooku finds her and takes her, which is a great book. You've listened to that audiobook, correct?
Oh, I've listened to it twice. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's really, really good. I have written down here, I'll go through this stuff, and then we can talk about her a little bit. Trained by Dooku, found by Dooku, then trained by Dooku, betrayed by Dooku. She wants to get revenge, so she goes back to Dathomir. She finds Mother Talzin to get her revenge. It fails, so they send like assassins to get him. He senses them, kills them all. And then they use the witch magic. They use the dark side magic, and they make Savage Opress. They basically give him the super soldier serum that Captain America has, and they make him all beefy and
the yellow
all
version
beefy
of Maul.
and massive. Yeah, he's an awesome character. And then they send Savage off to train under Dooku, and then he's supposed to like kill Dooku when he gets a chance. But we'll get into that. So what do you think about that? Like, Asajj and Dooku's relationship, and then bringing in Savage as well. And I always say Asajj and Savage. Like I kind of stumble on those sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard. Savage, Asajj, Maul. Well, yeah, they were. Asajj Ventress is in the Dooku book a lot. It's her listening to Dooku. He's telling her to get something for her or whatever, and she's reading into all of his like history, his past, like all the stuff that he kept. And she's like reading all these past little notes and watching these little holovids from his sister, and like he finds out all this stuff, and yeah, and then you're hearing all of Asajj's thoughts in her head as well, so you kind of know like how she feels about Dooku and all of this stuff. And then at the end of it, she he tells her to do something not so good, but she does it. But anyways, she wants to be the best helper that she can to Dooku, but then in the Clone Wars, it kind of takes a south turn, right?
Yeah, it definitely does. So, but yeah. And then of course they bring in Savage Opress, and he goes in. And I haven't watched Clone Wars in a while, but I do believe that he goes in, he gets trained by Dooku, tries to kill Dooku, gets beat. Then he goes and he finds Maul. Right? Isn't that the order of things? I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And and then they bring back Maul, and he's all crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on that junk planet. He has the spider legs and everything.
I feel like it's Asajj who like trains, like it's Ventress who trains Savage, and like they send him to. Yeah, they do send him to Dooku though, like as a. They screw around with the poor guy. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
And then Maul tries to train him, and then that doesn't work out either.
No, and then so the big part of this too then is Dooku sends Grievous in, because all this stuff happens, and then Dooku gets mad. He sends Grievous in, and they absolutely wipe out. And when we thought, I thought, because when Marin shows up in Jedi Survivor or Fallen Order, sorry, it's kind of shocking because we were under the impression that Asajj was like the only one left. But I guess if there's more Jedi still sprinkled out after Order 66, it's not unbelievable that you have more Night Sisters.
Which
But yeah, so he
survivors?
sends Grievous in there. They wipe him out, destroy the fortress. They kill almost all of them. And so from that point on,
Mhm.
basically we're going to focus on Ventress, Mother Talzin, Meryn, and then Morgan Elsbeth. They're going to be the ones that we really talk about moving forward. So, all right. So we kind of got, their story a little bit. We've had, kind of starting with Clone Wars. A lot of the story happens in Clone Wars. We get a little bit more out of it. And then because it's kind of towards the end of the Clone Wars series, we have Mother Talzin show back up. And she basically, saves Maul, I think. She because Maul is crazy.
Yeah.
He's been on that planet. And then she, gives him his legs back, I think. And
yeah, she actually helps him out. And then
because
they side with each other and against Sidious. Something like
mommy
that.
and son
Yeah.
go after Sidious. So they go after Sidious and Dooku. Man, Dooku, he owns the Dathomirians. They have not been able to. Every time they try something, they got to be real frustrated with him. But
he's a beast.
He is a beast. Talzin and Maul go after him, and go after Sidious and Dooku, but they get killed. Well, Mother Talzin gets killed.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember that episode. I do remember the episode where Savage and Maul go after Dooku or go after Sidious, and Sidious goes completely ape and just kicks both their butts, kills Savage, and then just tells Maul get out.
Yeah, take what you've seen and go. It's been a while since I've watched those episodes too, but I do remember seeing those scenes and stuff. I remember thinking oh my god, this is a kids show. This is slavery and forcing and selling. But it is a bit of a brutal arc for sure.
Oh yeah, there's a couple in Clone Wars. One of our listeners, Mike, friend back home, he just told me today because we were talking during the Steelers game, which was a sad event. But we were talking. He's like, "Hey, I started Clone Wars for the first time, and he's really been enjoying that." And I told him it just gets better. It kind of
does
ramps up, and some of these story arcs get in there, and it's pretty crazy. And then when they canceled Clone Wars, when Disney buys Lucasfilm, they had this story, and I can't remember where I heard this, but it's my understanding that George Lucas's daughter wrote the series that gets turned into a book by Christy Golden called Dark Disciple, which is all about which is because it was supposed to be in season 7, I guess, the original season 7 or the second half of season 6. But they kind of canceled it, and I would love to see this.
Yeah,
I'd love to see this live action story happen because Asajj decides, she in the Clone Wars she becomes a bounty hunter, and we see her. She has a really fun relationship with Kenobi. There's definitely some tension there between the two of them.
Oh, jeez.
But she becomes a bounty hunter, and eventually in the book, I don't want to give too much away, but there's this whole idea that they're going to go and they're going to assassinate Dooku. And they take Quinlan Vos. They get Quinlan Vos to basically befriend Asajj. But then some things happen. So
good things.
Yeah, it's and if you didn't know, if you watch the Kenobi series, they name drop Quinlan when he's in the path there. So
his name's on the wall, right?
Yeah. His name's on the wall there, which is pretty cool. But the idea is, they kind of fall in love, right? Quinlan and Asajj, and Quinlan goes through a bunch of ups and downs in the book. I don't want to give too much of it away, and then Ventress ends up. I don't know if I want to spoil it. Some things happen at the end of the book, and so. But I would love to see this. But this is kind of the last time we really see Asajj Ventress in anything. Yeah. So she kind of just her character kind of is kind of retired, I guess, and we haven't seen Quinlan Vos since then either.
Right.
And that doesn't mean anything about the ending. I can promise you, you'll be surprised by how things end. But so that's kind of the end of Talzin. Asajj Ventress, and then we play Jedi Fallen Order. And what happens, Taylor? What happens in Jedi Fallen Order?
I know this answer. We meet a Night Sister or a Witch of Dathomir, and yeah, the friends, good friends for now.
Very good friends. But like you said too, though, you talked earlier about how it's a matriarchal society where the women are in control. And when we get to Dathomir, it's a pretty cool storyline because you see bits and flashes of her, and then she shows up, but she's controlling the Night Brothers. Like she's kind of running them. So, but that's pretty cool to see her. And of course, she does. I think by this point, everyone knows that she shows up in Jedi Survivor. She was also in the book,
the Battle Scars book.
The Battle Scars book. She's in that. A big part of hers is in that. She's she's a very interesting character.
Merrin, the Night Sister.
Merrin is definitely she's very passion driven. We'll just say that.
Yeah. Oh, I want to play Survivor so bad.
Oh, it's coming out for PS4. I've heard.
Not till like next year. I looked it up.
Oh,
I know. I was like, I might as well just start saving up get the PlayStation 5. God.
Well, you're going to need to because all those games that are coming out, they're all going to be for the 5, I bet you. It'll be worth it.
You're right. Well, someone convince my husband, okay?
I'll chat with him.
He's who I need to convince.
So Merrin shows up. She's a big part of the stories, and this is during the age of the Empire, the Galactic Empire. So that kind of all happens. And then in 14 BBY, she officially joins the crew of the Mantis. So that's pretty cool. She's there with Cere and all of them. Grease.
BD-1.
BD-1. Oh, yeah. Maybe one of the best droids. There's so many good droids. We should do an episode on droids.
Yeah, we really should.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, we need to do that. Maybe we'll do that sometime soon.
Okay.
Then we take a break from that, and of course the Rebel series. These things. This is one thing that people have a hard time with Star Wars is because like things jump around a lot. Like we got Rebels before we got Jedi Fallen Order games and Survivor. We had Rebels, but to BBY. If you've been doing your Rebels rewatches and stuff like that, getting ready for Ahsoka, you probably remember this episode, and it ties in nicely with the Mandalorian. But Maul and Ezra get connected. And they go back to Dathomir to try to separate from each other. And some craziness ensues. Do you remember that episode, Taylor?
I do. Doesn't Sabine get possessed? And Zeb, I think. They get totally possessed by Night Sister magic and all this craziness. And it's has the Darksaber is also in it or something.
Yeah, Sabine gets possessed, I believe. And then Kanan takes that possession, and Kanan takes it. And somehow Ezra's able to make a well, it's both of them. You weren't wrong. Kanan takes the possession of, if I'm remembering correctly, and then they end up fighting, and Ezra's able to destroy these spirits because they're not actually Night Sisters or spirits of Night Sisters they bring in, but then they find the Darksaber, and that introduces the Darksaber to Star Wars fans.
Right.
And of course, we all kind of where that goes with the whole, and that has its own story arc that you should watch. And you'll see how Bo-Katan gets it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, of course, then you jump to the end of season 1 of Mandalorian, and everyone loses their mind when the Darksaber pops up out of the
It all ties in. Right back to Rebels. If you're watching Mando, you're just going to have to watch Rebels because otherwise you're not going to know what's going on in Ahsoka to know what's going on back with the Darksaber from Mando.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is I said at the beginning of this, I didn't realize, I sit there and I think about the Night Sisters and I'm like, oh yeah, they're fun little characters, but they are tied in.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, more and more I've read, and that, and of course we're about to get to the one we know the best or we've gotten the most out of. But 9ABY, so 9 years after the Battle of Yavin, we meet Morgan Elsbeth in season 2 of The Mandalorian, chapter 13, I think, The Jedi.
Oh yes, in The Mandalorian season 2, chapter 13.
Yes, chapter 13, and of course we meet her there. and they name drop Grand Admiral Thrawn in that, and of course, and then we fast forward a few years, and here we are with Ahsoka and Morgan. Elsbeth is the big bad, or one of the big bads. And I looked up her backstory, and it doesn't. I think they're leaving something out on Wikipedia because it doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me. And you can tell me what you think. And so it says outraged by massacre of her people, obviously. But then she goes, she built up Imperial Navy by plundering entire planets. And I think you said something about this last week or 2 weeks ago. We were talking a little bit about Elsbeth. Like, why in the heck is she working with the Imperials when that's the group? I mean, maybe not officially, but like Sidious, the Emperor, but she throws herself into her work. I mean, she's kind of a jerk. I mean, she's like plundering entire planets. You see her on the planet Corvus. She's got that place. Like, I think you talked about how it was just basically just destroyed. By the forces and looks terrible. And then, of course, she works for Thrawn. And currently, she's on her way to rescue Thrawn. And so that's like the latest of the Night Sisters that we've got. What do you think about Morgan Elsbeth?
I really like Morgan. I love this character. She's so evil to the core. And I love how right from The Mandalorian season 2 episode, it's so obvious that she is like a Night Sister, like a Dathomir witch. Like, it's so obvious. She's wearing the red, like her skin is like palish, right? Like her skin and her hair are a lot more pale in this Ahsoka show. Like, they make it a lot more obvious.
Yeah.
But like the green smoke everywhere, and like it was just so good. And like she's such a good fighter too when they're having their battle there in her like garden in the castle there, but yeah, also we should say that the witches of Dathomir are not one specific like species. So like they're near humans. And I guess in Legends we won't go into Legends too much, but in Legends it was just a whole bunch of outcasts kind of that had force abilities. So so if you take from Legends, they could be any species, really. And we've got Asajj Ventress, who is all white, and she has, like, those lines on her face, like, down her mouth and stuff. Like, I'm not sure if those are tattoos or what, but it's the same as Merrin.
I was never sure about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Merrin has those, too, right? Like, the lines on her face?
Yeah, she has designs on her face and stuff like that. So yeah, I believe those are tattoos, so... Yeah,
so if they are tattoos, then it could just be, like, that Morgan is the same species, like the same humanoid species as them. It's just like farther away generations, and maybe they don't have the tattoos now, or a descendant down from them. But apparently there was like even in Legends there was like a Sith temple on Dathomir too, so that's why their power was from the Force was always like dark.
In Legends. Yeah, in Legends, there's supposedly a fallen Jedi goes there and teaches them the ways.
Yeah,
and how to tap into it. But I think canon gets away from that a little bit, and then this makes them dark side users. But they don't get overwhelmed by the dark side of it. So, which is pretty cool. But that does kind of open the door for someone like, let's say, one Baylan Skoll to be able, maybe he's learned from Morgan or learned over the time how not to fall into it, or who knows? Cool. I mean, I just think it's open up a lot of new options for the Jedi and just people with the dark side. Yeah, lots of possibilities. But if you had to pick like your favorite Night Sister from this group that we talked about, or favorite arc or anything like that, Taylor, what would you? What do you think? Which one have you enjoyed the most? I mean, I know it's a little unfair with Morgan Elsbeth because we really don't know exactly what's going on with her.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about her, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Morgan has the potential to be super cool when we learn about her a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But like, we still don't even know why she's the boss of everybody, and like what she's just so planned out. Like, she's still making stuff. Like, I don't know, but
it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think Merrin's gonna have to be my favorite Night Sister, just because in the Battle Scars book, she's like struggling with her powers now that she's away from Dathomir, and like I think she also taps into like using the Force like later. Maybe I heard a rumor about that. But yeah, I mean, besides all of the lots of like making out and stuff in the Battle Scars book, like I like her in the Battle Scars book. But yeah, I can't wait to play Jedi Survivor and see what the heck's going on, because I've obviously seen that kiss picture, so it's like, I just don't know yet.
Yeah, I really like Merrin, and it'll change, I think, when they finish the Fallen Order series. I know we're getting one more game.
Coming. Yeah,
I love her character. I really hope we get to play as her sometime. But I have to say, Asajj Ventress right now is probably my favorite, just with all the stuff that she's tied into, her back and forth with Kenobi. She has a pretty rough story. You sit there and you listen to her story in the Dooku book. You see the stuff that happens to her in Clone Wars, and then how her story, at least the parts that we know of her, how that ends with her story in Dark Disciple. She's very tragic. Of course, Star Wars does a great job of having a lot of tragic characters fall in love with. But yeah, so I would say right now that Asajj, but it can be wide open. Merrin could take it over next year or 2 years whenever we get that next game. And then who knows with I'm not a big fan of Morgan Elsbeth. I think she's a good bad guy. I want to see what's going on with her, and I really need to figure out why her revenge on the Empire is working for the Empire.
Yeah,
It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but I could be missing something. If I am, people let me know. I just, I do feel like they're leaving some stuff out on Wikipedia that may be like spoilers for what's about to happen in the next 4 episodes of Ahsoka.
Yeah, it'll be changed soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, it could be. So we'll see. But I think that's pretty much it for the Night Sisters. Now, there's a ton of stuff, folks. You can go out. If you get on Wikipedia or Fandom, you can go on there, and I think there's 11 pages of
there's
like
lots.
notes and backstory. They do a little bit, and then make sure you're clicked on the Canon tab, though, because when you start scrolling down, there's a Canon and Legends tab, and don't make the mistake I made last week and spend 3 hours reading Legends material, thinking, oh, this is really great. I can see why some people were upset that Legends isn't true anymore, because some of the stories I read were really cool.
Good.
But anyway, just make sure you're on the Canon tab and that you're reading that stuff, and you'll have lots and lots of backstory on it. And I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more. Dave is going to do a good job with Elsbeth in this series.
Yeah.
But I think that's what we got for you guys this week.
All right. Do we have a voicemail this week?
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Bring that up real quick. You're right, Taylor. We do have a voice message from the one, the only, Oral Farm Boy. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Miss Taylor, Jack, and Jimmy Adams. It's RFB.
Woo!
So just listening to this week's Explore the Force. Traditional versus not traditional Jedi.
That was such a fun one.
Now, previous to this, I think it was Jack that took a look at Mace Windu. And then there was a question by Miss Taylor and also Jimmy, whether, because Mace has a purple-bladed lightsaber, where it concerns that he skirts the dark side of the Force through his lightsaber form, which is Form 7, which is called the Pad, and whether or not that's Legends, no, that's canon. So you're both right. And yeah, I kind of agree with that he's very rigidly traditional Jedi, which is pretty much what done him in my opinion. But then the question comes that Jimmy Adams laid it out, wants to hear from listeners, whether or not Luke Skywalker would be counted among traditional Jedi. And wondering what listeners would answer who his master would be to teach him. Well, he had maybe a day or 2 or 3 with Ben Kenobi, and then a few months, as maybe we understand on Dagobah with Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, them aside, Luke was pretty much his own master, wandering the galaxy, finding Jedi lore and whatnot. To me, my opinion would be, yeah, Luke would be traditional Jedi. My opinion. And looking forward to other explorers' opinions on what they think about Luke and who they think his master or masters were. And looking forward to explore the Force in my podcast playlist, whether you're with me on my workday or I'm listening at home and sharing out who I'm listening to. So till the next, also looking forward to Ahsoka Part 4. It plays tonight. I don't get to take a look till I'm home from work tomorrow.
He's in for it.
Oh, he is.
Looking forward to new Explore the Force episode in my playlist. Till then, may the Force be with you, friends. See you on the radio.
May the Force be
All
with
right.
you.
Yes. Yeah, so he says Luke is a traditional Jedi, which is pretty cool. I think we're
agree.
going to, yeah. See, yeah, I don't know.
There's a
I
lot
kind
of
of go back and forth on Luke.
Yeah, that's true. Like, there's so, like,
But-
the way he started off and, like, his, like, family origin and stuff. But, like, he's really trying hard to go to read it from the
Yeah.
books and the texts and stuff. Like, he's trying super hard. And, yeah, I think he's trying to be traditional.
I could probably see it both ways, but I think you're right. He has a very untraditional start, but goes traditional, which was kind of the opposite thing that you said about a lot of the Jedi. So, you know, he ends up being the chosen one or whatever. But so yeah, I can see that. I think we'll wait and really dive into this when all three of us are back together, because I think this will be a good topic. And then if any of the listeners are still out there, I know we've got some other emails we need to dive into, but yeah. But thanks for sending us in, folks. If you send us in send us a voicemail, you can email it to us. You can actually do it through the app on Spotify as well now. Send us a voice message. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. You can just hit the button and you can talk into it, and it'll send it to us. Or you can email it to us. You can drop it to us in social medias, whatever you want to do. It can be about a topic we've talked about, something you want us to discuss. Let us know, man. We're always down for what the listeners, we want to talk about what you want to hear about. So,
yeah, or if you
let
guys
us know.
have a good Force encounter, if you have a really good one, let us know what it is. Because we're
for
laughing.
Sure. Yeah, we've a pretty rough week on it so far this week. So hopefully our Force encounters will pick up this week. But all right, Taylor, you want to take us out?
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to us this week again. Hopefully we're going to hear something from Jack. But from me, for Light and Life.
And for me and Taylor right now, we have spoken.
Yeah, we have. We'll have to wait for Jack's snazzy quotes next week.